Hello, I'm Mandy Guess. On this episode of Ask Though, we'll be talking about the general obligation bond election coming up on November the 8th. We're here with Natalie Green, Housing and Neighborhood Services Manager. Thanks for being with us today, Natalie.
Thank you for having me.
So voters are being asked to approve $6 million to support the Affordable Housing Trust Fund. What would that amount provide for our community?
Housing costs represent the largest recurring monthly expense for Las Cruces residents. So this funding would allow us to leverage state and federal resources to build and develop housing, both rental and home ownership.
You said it would help us build housing. What's the current situation for housing here in Las Cruces?
There's a large shortage of both rental and home ownership. We estimate that we need about 11,000 units in Las Cruces to meet that need over the next 10 years.
And what does that mean exactly? How's this different from 10 years ago?
There's a lot of things contributing to the lack of affordable housing these days. The pandemic is certainly one. We've also had a lot of supply chain issues, labor shortages, increasing costs. All of that increases the demand, and with the limited supply, costs are going up all across the city. We estimate that renters have seen increases in their monthly rents at least by 30%, and then our single family sales price has increased just 28% in 1 year.
Wow, that's a big difference. So what has changed from the city's perspective?
One of the things we're trying to do is, again, leverage our state and federal partners to build more housing in Las Cruces. And the city has been really proactive in creating the Affordable Housing Trust Fund and Land Bank to meet the needs of our community.
So how does that housing trust fund work, and does it already exist?
It does exist. It hasn't been consistently funded to meet the need. The way it works is it is a competitive process, and we would use the fund to either buy land or finance or develop low-interest loans or grants to developers to build affordable housing. And so it is competitive. There's an advisory committee, and all of those projects go to City Council for approval and the state of New Mexico.
So you talked a little bit about that process. Are there specific parameters for the types of projects that can be funded?
There is. So every project that's funded has to have a 2-to-1 return on investment. They're primarily loans or low interest loans, so the money comes back to the trust fund to then be used again. And then every property that's funded is secured through a promissory note and a deed restriction, and it stays affordable for 20 years.
Oh, that's great news. So if voters were to approve this bond question, who's going to benefit from that?
Everyone benefits. Affordable housing is a catalyst for economic development. We know that when families or households have lower housing costs, they have more money for and time for other things across to meet their other basic needs. And so affordable housing would benefit low to moderate income renters, first-time homeowners, working families, families with children, families who are on fixed incomes, and seniors, and then just anyone who has experienced increased housing instability.
And so if the voters didn't want to pass this GO bond, how would that impact?
Without this GO bond, it would substantially limit our ability to provide housing, and we would see those costs continue to increase. And as costs increase, we know that people are going to have to make difficult decisions around paying for housing or meeting their other basic needs.
I gotcha. Is there anything else you'd like to add about the GO bond question?
This GO bond for affordable housing is really about keeping housing attainable and keeping it affordable for a prosperous and thriving community for all Las Cruces residents.
Thank you so much, Natalie, for being here. I just want to encourage people to visit our website at lascruces.gov for more information on the GO bond questions, and remember to vote on November the 8th.